Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we are back again with another disturbing Jay Slater video. Hayley comment from TikTok has a theory on what actually happened to Jay Slater. This is someone who has heavily been investigating this case for a number of weeks, connecting with the family, connecting with people that have been involved in the case itself. She has spoken to a whole host of people that were in Tenerife around the time of Jay's disappearance. Now, based on all the information that she has gathered through her sources, she has decided to let it all out.
Her mum said, yes, you can interview her, but not her face. And that is why Lucy all of a sudden went from being the spokesperson to Jay to no longer wanting to show her face because her mum was there to protect her. And Lucy's mum pretty much did the right thing by mother standards and took her daughter away from Tenerife quite quickly. So when we were all like, oh my God, Lucy's like left Jay, like she's gone on clubbing again, Lucy was removed from the area by her mum, which they then went to, I think it was Gran Canaria, before they came back home to the UK.
I did hear something along these lines. I thought it was Lanzarote that they went to. What's questionable at this point is why Lucy's mum would take her away from helping Debbie and the family search for Jay. Bearing in mind, Lucy claimed she was the last person to speak to Jay. Was it all the trolling that took place on social media that led for her mum to say, I'm taking her away from this? Or did the mum know there was something dark and disturbing that happened to Jay Slater and they needed to get the hell out of there? Now, Lucy was the person that set up the second GoFundMe, and that GoFundMe is still up and running. One of the main questions would be, why set up a GoFundMe for 30K? And another question is why was the original GoFundMe of 10K taken down? Didn't the family trust Rachel to run the GoFundMe? Really curious to know why that GoFundMe was set up and who asked Rachel to take that GoFundMe down and get Lucy to set it up.
And the message that she sent me was obviously to one of her friends saying, I know, but my mum's not happy about me doing any of the media. She wants me to come home with her now. And I thought, what, come home with her now?
Why would the mum not be happy for her to do any of the media? This is her friend who's missing. It's been a couple of days. Unless the mum knows something that we don't know at this point, it doesn't make any sense why the mum wouldn't be happy for her to do media. I understand Lucy's 18 years old, but at this point, this is a genuine missing persons case. It's not like this guy's been murdered. It's not like this guy's got himself involved in something that he shouldn't have got himself involved in. He's just wandered off. So let's all find him. But no. Lucy's mum's like, no, don't want you to do no media. I don't even want you to stay in Tenerife. We're getting the hell out of here.
Your mum's not there. And I want to say that the person who confirmed that with me, I would not give you their name because it's someone who's worked with me the whole way through this case, who's on the inside of this case. And if it come out, then I will lose access to information. They also may have some problems. So, like I said earlier on in my video, you can either believe that or you can choose to not believe it. But let me tell you what, if I put that out and it's wrong, then they can sue me. And I will say to Lucy and her mother that you absolutely are welcome to take me to a court of law in which I will expose who gave me that information and the full messages. I'm happy to do that. And that was recorded and I was played the whole conversation. I can't put out that recording, although I've re-listened to it a minute ago to get my information again.
I wonder what recording she's talking about.
I can't put that out because it would put a male in a lot of danger. So I can't do that. I'm just going to go through everything I want to say because I'm nervous and I want to get it all out. So I have actually spoke to this male and described the night that Jay had gone missing. And he spoke about how they were all in a car. Lucy, Brad, Jay and Brandon. I.e. there wasn't room in that car for Rocky as well, which is why Rocky has always been asleep the whole time, because I don't think he was in that car.
Who would have told her this story? It sounds like it could have come from only one person. Sounds like it's a story from Ayub.
At one point while they were driving back through the tunnel, Brad, who got an eerie feeling, decided to get out of the car and asked to go toilet in the tunnel. He could not go toilet in the tunnel because he had taken so much ketamine. So Lucy is shouting, and this is Ayub's word, Lucy shouting him to get back in the car.
This is Ayub's word. I knew it was Ayub. I knew it was Ayub, you know. Ayub. Ayub. However you want to pronounce it.
Brandon's telling him we're going to drive off without him. He's not getting back in the car.
So I don't understand at this point. I'm kind of lost. Is Jay in the car with his friends and Ayub driving? If that is the case, why is Brad feeling some type of way and jumping out the car? Are they en route to do something to Jay at this point? Which means they're all in the car. All these friends are ready to do this guy dirty. Is that what you're telling me? Because that's what it sounds like. Brad had second thoughts, decided that he wanted to go to the toilet, but couldn't go to the toilet because he was on ketamine. I mean, I'm lost. I feel extremely lost at this point.
They said, so we've left him. Okay. Then I hear from someone who is Brad's friend who says the exact same story, but he tells me that Brad had a funny feeling that something was going to happen that night, so refused to get back in the car. He pretended he couldn't pee, and then he ran back to Los Cristianos. So there's Ayub saying, yeah, no, that did happen. Brad did get out of the car. Like, he was just couldn't wait, and we weren't waiting. And I thought, why wouldn't you wait for him?
Wow. So Ayub is claiming that they were all in the car together at this point, which means what Rachel told us is an absolute lie. And what Ayub originally told us is an absolute lie. That's if Ayub said this to Hayley. And I don't think Hayley's making this up. She says she's got the receipts for this. Okay. So Ayub's basically said that they were all in the car together going to the Airbnb, and Brad got cold feet and decided to jump out the car. Cold feet in regards to what? I don't know. I really don't know. Again, if this is true, it means Rachel and Ayub were lying because they both said that Jay gave Brad the key. Originally, Ayub said Jay lost the key, but then he changed it to Jay gave the key to his mate. And Rachel had more or less the same take because she said it was Brad that told Jay he wanted to go, but Jay had other ideas. He tried to convince Jay to go with him back to the hotel, but Jay wanted to go off with these other two guys. He said it was okay, it was all right because they knew them. And he said, look, Jay, you contact me when you get there, which he did, according to Rachel. And then Jay said to him he's going to get some kip and get a taxi in the morning. What? This case is literally a whole web of lies. I can't wait to see Ayub's podcast that's coming out in the next couple of weeks.
Why wouldn't you wait for him? If he was just dropping to pee, unless you were on your way to do something or you'd already started doing something to Jay in the car, why do you need to race off? And Brad's just like, nah, I felt everything was weird in that car. I ain't getting back in it. So we then hear that Jay goes up to...
I mean, can we believe that Brad felt that way? Is this true? I mean, she's saying that Ayub said this, and then Brad's friend also said this.
Mask Mountain. That's always struck me as odd, right? Because Ayub come to Tenerife very quickly with apparently Rocky. What Ayub never mentions is it wasn't just Rocky. There was 3 of them that arrived at the airport that day. It was Rocky, it was Ayub, and it was LK, also known as Stabber. It's his nickname. And they were all in the car at the airport. So where did that guy go? Unless 2 of them were up at the Airbnb waiting and Ayub went to pick up his friends, Lucy, Brandon. So...
And there has been speculation that there were other people at the Airbnb when Jay and Ayub got there. That could make sense. It could have been this guy LK and Rocky sitting in there, chilling. But then what? They took Jay in there and decided to what? Have a gangbang? I know there was one live that Ayub done and he brought that guy LK on and he said innocent until proven guilty. I mean, what are you talking about?
Everything I'm telling you, the family do know. Yes. So then we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened once we got to the Airbnb. I will tell you about what happened the next day though.
Ooh.
So we have this that come on. I've always spoke about this because I've always believed this is absolutely vital information. This that was posted on Facebook that shows on the morning the car that Jay was in arrived between 6 and 6 a.m. He arrived back at the Airbnb at Masca.
Yeah, Ayub claims about 6:40 it was.
And on 7 o'clock, an hour after Jay got there with his friends, a second vehicle arrives. It parks outside.
So his friends were at the Airbnb with him then?
For half an hour before leaving.
You do remember that? Another white car arrived. It was at the Airbnb for about half an hour. Then it took off. Okay.
I believe Jay was in that car that left. I have no evidence of this. And we know that when we started talking about this second car, Ayub then goes back to the press and says, nah, a man and woman knocked on my door. They stopped their car and asked me to move my car. And that's what was going on.
Yeah, Ayub did change that part of the story a few times. But why would the friends be at the Airbnb with Jay and allow this next car to come along and take him away? Is that the moment they decided to fabricate Jay Slater's pictures on Snapchat?
And that took half an hour apparently. He said they look like characters from The Hills Have Eyes, like he had a wheelbarrow with him. So if someone's asked you to move your car and he's got a wheelbarrow, why has he got a fucking car? Unless he's set next to his wheelbarrow in his car.
And he also claims that one of the 3 were Ophelia. Now that doesn't make any sense because Ophelia claims that she saw Jay walking up the mountain as she was going home. Her home is the next town away from Masca. It would have taken her about 35, 40 minutes to get to that town. So how the hell would she have got to that town and back for Ayub to then see her at 9 o'clock in the morning?
None of it made any sense. He kept changing the story, okay? So that leads you to believe that Ayub, who only booked that Airbnb after he got to Tenerife and then went back there a couple hours later, needed that at the last minute. He needed someone out in the mountains to do an exchange of Jay Slater. Because Ayub, and we've seen this and I've been tracking him through where he travels, always stays in 5-star resorts, always stays with pools, always stays where he's got women all over him, around him in bikini, always drinking the best alcohol. He don't stay in no rattly little place in the Masca Mountains. He literally goes to party places where there's kids and young people, where his business takes place, whatever he wants to do, drugs, fruit and vegetables, whatever your thing is this week, I don't know. He does not stay in little Masca, cute little mountain places with his friends. He just doesn't. So that leads you to believe that there is someone else who may have picked Jay Slater up from this place. So what happens next? The next day, this is from Brad as well, straight from Brad. Lucy and Brandon arrive back at the hotel and they say to Brad, Jay's missing, we need to go look for him.
Lucy and Brandon. Oh, that's extremely interesting, because if you remember a few months ago, I would have told you that Lucy and Brandon's relationship is more stronger than anyone else's relationship amongst that circle of friends. Lucy was the first person to come out and make us aware that Jay Slater was missing. For some reason, I feel like Lucy weren't there when it all went down. She communicated with Brandon.
Brandon and Lucy come and say, Jay's lost. Brad wants to go up and look with them. They say, no, you can't come.
I was going to say, if that is the case, it means that Brad wasn't there when Jay went missing, which means what was said earlier about Brad jumping out the car doesn't make any sense. But this here makes a bit more sense than what we heard earlier. Why? Because like I said to you guys, Lucy and Brandon, their relationship is tight. If Brad wasn't there and whatever happened to Jay was under the supervision of Brandon, then Lucy would have been the first person Brandon would have told. So this makes more sense that Lucy and Brandon linked up and went to Brad and said, Brad, Jay's missing. They
go off looking. And there is pictures of them in a car with Ayub and Rocky looking for Jay. Okay, because they've taken pictures out the front of their car looking at a police car who's also looking for Jay.
So this is when Ayub says they were at the side of the mountain during the night screaming, Jay, Jay. Is that what Hayley's kind of referring to here?
So they're out there. Then they come back.
But then that also goes against what Lucy said, because Lucy said there were two strangers. She said she didn't know them. All of a sudden, Lucy found the Airbnb through the picture that Jay allegedly put up on his Snapchat. That was the picture of the landscape. I don't think anyone would have found anything based on that picture.
Later on, Lucy and Brandon, and they say, we need to look for Jay again, but you can't come with us. And Brad's like, in case he comes back here, he figures like, I've got to wait here. They still haven't alerted anyone back home, Jay's mum or anything, but Lucy's mum already knows.
So Lucy's mum knows before Jay's mum. And Lucy and Brandon go to Brad the second time, say we need to look for him again, but you need to stay here.
So on the third time when they come back and they need to find Jay and they're getting to the stage where they need to alert someone that Jay's missing, they say to Brad, you've got to come with us now.
So this is the third time they go looking for Jay.
Come and help us search because we need to make a police report like we've just lost Jay. And Brad...
So this is the third time. This time they need Brad to go with them because they need to make a police report. Okay.
Brad says at that stage, he says, no, I'm not going. There's something too weird going on here.
And then Brad doesn't want to go because he believes there's something too weird going on. What is going on? Because in the whole midst of this, I still don't understand what's happened to Jay. All I have heard, honestly, is Brad jumped out the car because he was scared. Scared of what? I don't know. They obviously had some sort of motive going on that involved doing something to Jay. And this one here is Jay's gone missing. They've looked for him for a couple of days. The second day, they told Brad to stay at home just in case Jay would have turned up to the hotel, I can only presume. And then the third day, they told Brad, you've got to come out with us because this time we're going to make a missing persons report. Now, this part here sounds more true than anything else. They went looking for Jay for a couple of days. They couldn't find him. They asked Brad to stay at the hotel just in case Jay come back. And then the third day, they said, you know what? We've got to file a missing persons report. And they went to the police station and done that. I mean, that sounds normal. That sounds like a normal process that people would go through if their friend or family member was genuinely missing. But why are we only being told this now? And if this is the case, then where the hell did Jay Slater go?
Which I don't believe fully, because he already said he'd had an amazing feeling, a weird feeling the night before. Sorry, someone's called amazing. A weird feeling the night before that something had happened. And I believe something happened already to Jay in that car, where it already became a situation where it wasn't going to go well.
So are we basically saying what happened earlier, where Brad jumps out of the car, happened, and they then linked up with Brad the following day and said, Brad, Jay's missing. But right now, I'm not really buying it. This sounds like a story that's painting Brad out to be innocent. Like, he had no involvement in this whatsoever. Now, I'm not saying that Brad definitely has any involvement, but based on everything that we've been analyzing over the past couple of months, I'm pretty sure a lot of you would agree that Brad is probably our number one suspect. Saying Brad is our number one suspect is a slight lie, because for me, Brad isn't the number one suspect. For me, the number one suspect has always been Brandon. Why? Because Brandon was the last person to be seen with Jay, and Brandon's the only person out of all of the friends that hasn't come out and made any type of statement. In fact, anything that has been said of Brandon, either his mum trying to shut down people online to say that nobody needs to hear from Brandon, or two, Abe claimed that he was going to get Brandon in a Telegram group to share his side of the story. Why has Brandon never come out and cleared up his side of the story? I wonder why. My opinion, Brandon's his mate's mate. Every time Abe was saying his mate's mate, kind of realizing he was slipping up, I reckon he was talking about Brandon the whole time.
And that's why he's like, I'm getting out. So that's what we know about that. Then we know that Lucy obviously starts getting her story wrong. 1 minute's incoming call, 1 minute's outgoing call. Brad is all over the place. Always
probably one of the reasons why her mum decided to say, you know what, we're getting the hell out of here.
Nowhere at all to be seen. Brandon is a massive key here, because who's seen Brandon? It's like he never existed.
Exactly.
And even Ayub said on his live, I will answer any question about anything, but I will not answer anything about Brandon. Why?
Wow.
Why?
And he was calling him Hodgie as well, so he definitely knows him on a personal level.
Why is Brandon the one prodigal son we can't talk about? Why no statement? The only statement we ever heard from Brandon was his mum saying, leave my boy alone. Makes no sense. For hands at myself. Yeah.
Makes no sense.
2 people from Lancashire say that the wedding that Brandon went to in Lancashire while Jay was still missing, he told several people at that wedding, Jay's dead. How did you know if he was? How did you know he was dead if he was missing?
There was a number of things that have been said by a number of people that kind of implied that Jay was dead. Even Brad kind of talked about him in past tense as well.
How do you know? You know, and I put this stuff out in videos before and they've been taken down straight away, because Luggy, Rachel and everyone else will report them straight away because you're not allowed to mention Brad's name. And do I think Brad killed Jay? No. Do I think Ayub killed Jay? No. Do I think Rocky did? No. Do I think he was handed over to someone? Absolutely I do. I believe he was handed over to that second car. And that brings us to the motive. Why did Jay Slater have to die? You have to simplify it, okay? I've heard a lot of nonsense about Jay Slater died because of Potter Paper's coffee license. I've heard that he died because he had a bag with 50G in there. I've heard that he died because of Rolex watch. Jay Slater died because, this is allegedly, but 80% that it was something to do with what happened back in Lancashire.
And that was my original theory as well. That the only person that had motive to do anything to Jay Slater was Tom Hilton. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a very long live stream. There's so much more to go. So what we'll do is we'll do a part 2, because there's a lot to actually get through. And I think Hayley gave us a lot of information for us to digest in this first video. What I need you guys to do is comment down below and let me know exactly what you are thinking right now. Hit that like button, make sure you do subscribe to the channel if we are new, turn your notification bells on, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.